Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Muhi Khwaja with the 5 Fast Minutes Muslim Philanthropy Podcast at American Muslim Community Foundation. Today we have on Nabihah Maqbool, who is the National Lead for Believers Bailout. Welcome to the show, Nabihah.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. For those of you who are tuning in, Nabihah, please share with them, if you had 2 minutes to tell them more about Believers Bailout, what would you like them to know?
Believers Bailout is a community organized bail fund that's for Muslims who are incarcerated in immigration incarceration and pre-trial incarceration. That means we raise money and ask for people to give us funds by way of zakat so that we can pay to release people who are sitting in immigration centers and in jails for no other reason than the fact that they don't have money to pay for their bond. They haven't yet had their trial. They haven't yet been convicted of anything. They're truly sitting there in a jail that is penalizing them for their poverty.
And whether somebody's bail is 500 or 5,000 and they can't afford it, I'm sure it takes a lot of people donating their zakat to support Believers Bailout to do this work, whether it's their zakat or sadaqah. What would you like to tell them and thank them for their contributions?
So the work that Believers Bailout does to connect with people who are incarcerated and then find ways to pay for their bond and then support them once they are released would not be possible without the funds that are donated by others. We call on Muslims to donate their zakat by asking them to think of the individuals who are held by the bondage of their debt, by their debts that they're encumbered by their poverty. For many of those who are wayfarers and ICE and immigration detention facilities. And so Muslim donors make our work possible by taking care of and crowdfunding their debts so that they can be paid and reunited with their families and back into their communities.
Now, for you personally, what are, or sort of as a leader at a nonprofit organization and kind of just seeing the work that AMCF does, how would you categorize the support AMCF provides?
So AMCF is really fundamental to the work we do, both because they connect us to the community, but also because they give us expert advice. Believers Bailout itself is an all-volunteer effort that comes together and creates a collective to push for the concepts of abolition, which is removing prisons, jails, and police from our lives in recognition that there's better ways for us to provide safety to each other. So by working and having the support of AMCF, we're better able to realize that goal.
Definitely. We've been fortunate to support Believers Bailout for the last few years in our Black History Month initiative, our AMCF for Black Lives Matter initiative, and looking forward to continuing to support the work of Believers Bailout. You were very efficient with your time, which I really appreciate. So I will ask you what your three favorite charities are as well.
So Believers Bailout works in conjunction with a lot of other groups that are doing support for people who are locked inside. Among them are the Thayaba Foundation, Pillars of the Community, and Link Outside. All of these groups provide really essential services, connection, and classes for Muslims who are incarcerated.
Three fantastic organizations in addition to Believers Bailout. You can find out more about them in AMCF's nonprofit directory. So with the last minute, I'll give it back to you to say anything else that you'd like to about Believers Bailout.
So we're so enthused about having our upcoming Ramadan campaign. We were absolutely amazed the first year when we saw an overwhelming amount of support from the Muslim community because Believers Bailout has three goals that we're trying to address in its work, which is addressing the prison industrial complex that incarcerates people, addressing the anti-Black system that penalizes Black people specifically and disproportionately, and by addressing anti-Muslim racism that is experienced by incarcerated Muslims. And so we know that through the support of AMCF and through the support of the community at large for BDO, we're able to meaningfully address these issues by trying to free our siblings who are held in jails and incarcerated in immigration facilities. And we'd love to see them out for Ramadan.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for your continued efforts. It's really important all across the country to help people who are awaiting trial, not convicted of any crimes, and hopefully being able to connect them back with their families. Nabihah, thank you so much for joining and looking forward to following the work of Believers Bailout. You can find out more at believersbailout.org and also on social media at Believers Bailout. Thank you so much.
Thank you.